is sending military equipment and personnel to Belgium to help counter a series of disruptive drone incursions that have temporarily shut down airports and raised security concerns across Europe. The move came after Brussels requested for direct assistance. According to reports by Reuters and the BBC, both the governments stated that the mission is about protecting critical infrastructure, amid suspicions of possible Russian involvement. As per Reuters, drones have been spotted over airports and military bases in Belgium over the past week, forcing flight diversions and temporary closures, including at Brussels' Zaventem airport and in the eastern city of Liège. Similar drone activity was also reported in Sweden earlier this week, a part of which officials described as a growing pattern of aerial disruption across Europe. Sir Richard Knighton, the head of Britain's armed forces, told the BBC that the UK had already begun deploying what he called kit and capability to Belgium.
I spoke to my Belgian opposite number in the week, and he asked if we would be prepared to support them, and the Defence Secretary and I agreed at the end of last week that we would deploy our people and our equipment to Belgium to help them. It is important to be clear, though, that we don't know, and the Belgians don't yet know, the source of those drones, but we will help them by providing our kit and capability, which has already started to deploy to help to Belgium. The Strategic Defence Review set out quite clearly that we face a future or present that is more volatile, more uncertain, and there are growing threats to the alliance and to the UK. That's why we need to modernise, that's why we need to ensure that we are, to use the term, warfighting ready, and that's why the government has committed to invest unprecedented amounts in defence spending over the next few years, more than I've ever known in my career.
Knighton said it was not yet clear who was behind the drone incursions, but noted that Russia has previously used so-called hybrid warfare tactics, involving cyber attacks, sabotage, and other non-traditional means of aggression.
We don't know whether they're Russian attacks, but they have had these drones which are providing disruption to their airfields and have been sighted over their military bases. And the UK, alongside our other 31 allies in NATO, will work to support each other, and that's why the Defence Secretary and I are very happy to see UK military personnel deployed to support Belgium. We know that there's been sabotage, the Russian state has killed people on our soil in the UK, and so the so-called hybrid warfare, this warfare that's below the traditional threshold, are things that we need to strengthen ourselves against, whether that's cyber, whether that's in space. All of those things matter to us.
The BBC reported that Belgium's Defence Minister, Theo Franken, said there is no hard evidence linking the drones to Russia, though both German and Belgian security officials suspect Moscow may be involved. Germany's Defence Minister, Boris Pistorius, has suggested the activity could be tied to EU discussions about using frozen Russian assets held by Belgium's Euroclear bank to fund loans for Ukraine. Meanwhile, Brussels Airlines clarified that around 3,000 passengers were affected by the recent shutdowns, with dozens of flights diverted or cancelled. Belgium's government says what began as a military concern has now become a wider threat to civilian infrastructure across Europe.
As hybrid threats grow, our strength lies in our alliances and our collective resolve to defend, deter, and protect our critical infrastructure and airspace.
The UK's deployment comes as part of a broader NATO effort to bolster European defences. Britain has already sent RAF Typhoon jets to Poland for air policing missions in response to recent Russian incursions. While there's no definitive proof of who's behind the latest drone disruptions, officials say they underline Europe's growing vulnerability to hybrid threats and the need for rapid and coordinated response.